Hi everyone, how you doing? I guess this is Virtual Mark. Just doing a little bit of an introduction into the next Immersive Arts Lab that we've got coming up on the 22nd of April, which is completely created by this group, which is the Immersive Arts Lab by Future Artists, in case this video is somewhere else. In the lab, we are going to learn about avatars and the digital worlds that we live in. So the reason for creating this lab is that as we're beginning to see in the progression of the internet and Web 3.0, as it's being kind of called, is that we're sort of transcending from websites and kind of static page-based social media Twitter handles and just Instagram accounts, and we're moving more into, I guess, kind of embodied avatars that reflect our personalities, our personas, and give us a real identification in the digital world, or the metaverse as it's being called. And so the lab is to begin to sort of explore what that is and who's in there creating stuff and basically why they're doing it. And so the lab, I'm going to scroll through here. For me, as a researcher, so I'm doing a PhD in immersive music, and avatars play a huge part in that. So as we've been seeing in Fortnite and this example here, Roblox, you've got 30 million avatars which are represented and controlled by people, and designed in such a way that reflects their personas and worldviews, and mainly Generation Z, so under the age of 25 years old. It's global as well, so it's not geolocated to a specific area, and they're all congregating and going to virtual gigs. So here's an example here of Lil Nas doing a concert experience in Roblox, and Roblox predominantly is sort of under 16s, early teenagers. 30 million went to this gig. It was repeated 4 times, so 120 million people in total experienced this. Now, you couldn't get that many people into a gig venue. So it's showing that you've got this mass entertainment and this unique way of creating communities, society, and entertaining. And so I wanted to run down 3 parts of the event that we've got coming up. I'm not going to do it all. I'm just going to go through some of the highlights at the start, and then I'll do another video in a week or so's time. So our guest speaker that's going to kick off our lab is Dr. Jacqueline Ford-Maury. And what's so special about Jacqueline or Jackie is that she is a true VR pioneer. And I mean that in the sense that we've all kind of picked this up with the consumer-based Oculus Rift or the Quest. A £2,000 computer 4 years ago is now a $200-300 headset. What Jackie has done for over 25 years has been a leading arts practitioner in the field of digital. So began creating digital art on the Apple II computer in 1982, and that's the beginning of her career. And then to kind of, I guess, not even bookend it, but a few years ago worked with NASA on a project called Ansymbol. And Ansymbol was looking at a digital virtual world where you had avatars and a way of communicating with loved ones and mission control back on Earth while you're being launched towards Mars. And those missions are going to take, between 2 to 3 years to sort of do a full circle, or maybe people end up living on Mars. It's a one-way ticket. And so digital worlds become a kind of bridge to sort of psychologically hang out with loved ones and do mission critical thinking and stuff like that, but also forms of entertainment as well, because obviously Mars is going to be quite barren and you're going to be confined to a very small sort of capsule or something. So yeah, I can't really recommend. I'm so excited, basically looking forward to her opening speech here, which sort of sets the table for what's going to be coming up throughout the lab. And her talk is entitled "The Ultimate Selfie Redux." How are your avatars? How are we all evolving to become virtual humans of some form? So it's beginning to ask all those questions about how we're beginning to morph into the metaverse, and what parts of our personas are going there, and what are we leaving behind, and why are we doing this? And so, the ultimate selfie, what we're leaving there in the metaverse. So I'm really excited about how that's going to be set up. I've curated this, and what I wanted then is to kind of have a juxtaposition between the future and kind of the past. And so I've invited Graham Shacknell, who's a performance arts practitioner, and also an archaeologist, and works with Oxford Archaeology, and he does field work. And so he's got these two fantastic disciplines and is merging them in his own practice. And so what he will be discussing, and we've had conversations on Zoom about this, is cave paintings and ancient artifacts that we have going back 10, 20, 30,000 years show that humans have always used a kind of mask for rituals, or for putting a point of view across, or something. So when we're left with cave paintings, or when we're left with wooden or stone artifacts, they're always of human-esque forms or animal-human hybrids. And so we've always used a kind of avatar to communicate something. And so Graham's going to kind of give us an overview and start to ask even more questions about what our ancient past is and how that links to this future metaverse and digital. Because I think there are lessons and connections that we're beginning to see, and more research is needed to observe what I guess I'm starting to see. I'm then going to land us on what our first panel is, and then sort of stop this. So we are so lucky to have Nate Barsetti, who's not only a veteran of virtual worlds with over 13 years experience, but he's also part of the Oculus team at Facebook Reality Labs, and so has been one of the leaders in creating Oculus venues, which we might have all been to at some point, and works closely with the Horizon team, and obviously there's a lot of cross-pollination across what Facebook are up to. Now, Facebook Horizon hasn't been launched in the UK, so I've not been in there. But in our group, in our community, on our Facebook page, we've got several members that are leading practitioners in there. And so Nate is going to have a conversation with three people, with Paige, Michael, and Artsy Marie. So Paige is pretty cool. Is that she's the founder of the Better World Museum, which is a kind of virtual space for curating museum-esque spaces for how we can perceive and look at the world in unique ways, and become informed and make a better world. And she's doing that through the medium of virtual reality, and through avatars, and building digital worlds to live in and creating. And Horizon is one of her sandboxes that she plays in, and so she's going to be talking about that and what has spurred her to do that, and who's she meeting, and what are the conversations that are going down, and what's happening there. Now, I tasked Paige with helping me to curate this panel, and so she invited Michael Nash and Artsy Marie to join her, and Nate. And what's cool about Michael is that he's got a really interesting story, which I'm sure he'll go into in depth. But the kind of highlights package that Paige has told me is that he's 16 years old, so from a Generation Z point of view, he's kind of in the middle there, and he's using Rec Room, which is another virtual space, to kind of push forward his confidence and what he believes in and meet people and create things. And it's really opened up his worldview. And I thought that the story that Paige told me, and like I said, I'm not going to go into too many details here, was unique and really exciting and something that should be shared. Because a lot of the time you hear about these virtual worlds, it seems to be about commerce and how much money they can make and what NFTs they're going to be placed in there. They put that first, whereas I really do think that the arts and humanities and the way that people are manifesting themselves as avatars for whatever reason and then cutting out their own kind of niche to it and inspiring people, I think that's where I see these worlds. And case in point with Artsy Marie, in her words, she says she's the co-founder of Metaculture VR, an entertainment company founded by 10 black industry leaders, organically informed in virtual reality. Metaculture VR provides exclusive events and experiences for virtual reality. And what I think is really cool about Artsy Marie is she's taken that particular space in the metaverse and is really claiming it and making it her own. And she mentions the 10 black industry leaders there, and I think it's important to note that in the tech industry and specifically in developers and game culture, that black and people of colour are not represented. It's definitely a minority, and so I think that if we are to create virtual worlds that are representative of what we have an ideal for, that everybody has a voice. So what I think is important about this panel is that there's a variety of different voices. Nate from who's been on loan from Facebook Reality Labs is going to moderate it. He's already speaking to everyone individually as well behind the scenes, so it's going to be a really good panel to kick this off. And I think we're going to have some real big conversation about what the nature of the metaverse could be as seen in the opinions and through the eyes of these three individuals who are very different but also have a similar outlook to life. So that's just the introduction of the first 2 hours of this lab. So if you are interested, just go to the links that are below this video, Immersive Arts Labs by Future Artists, or go to Hopin and Future Artists, and you'll find a link to the upcoming event. So yeah, I hope you can join it. We've got a real good sense of community. There's a lot of sharing happening in the group, and these labs now that are now virtual by means of necessity are flying a flag for new creatives in this area, and so I'm really excited about where this is heading. So that's me. Thank you very much. See you in the metaverse, I guess. Bye.